really want to be. And usually there's no single instance that completely changes us to become that person that we desire to be. So as we continue to make votes in that direction we want to be, the identity starts to come to fruition. So Coach Donovan, in his wisdom, after he gave us this reality check, he had us start practice off with this drill that was very monotonous, just didn't see the purpose behind it, and we would start practice doing it every single day. And around like the midway point in that season, we're like, gosh, we got to do this drill again. We got it. This foundational principle, this is pedestrian. He said, you do not discount the significance of not that you can do it right, but you do it so much that you can never do it wrong. That this part, your mindset comes in, okay, you're a good enough team that you don't need to practice for 2 hours. You come in here with your focus and determination to be present and fight for the moments and have everybody locked in. That's all you need. So long story short on that, we're in the SEC championship game against the Kentucky Wildcats. We had already beaten them twice that year, which I was pretty thrilled about, not gonna lie. And it was coming down, this is the best that they had played us that season. We were up by 1 point going into the last possession of the game. This was it, this was the marbles. This was the tournament we had never won as a class. Coach Donovan hadn't held the trophy in a while. Kentucky, we know what they do, they win it almost every year. So Kentucky runs this play and they end up doing the same exact set that we had been practicing that entire season. So we defended it perfectly and ended up going on to win that, and the results there are history. But if we didn't get that lesson of fighting for the present and understanding, building the foundation, voting towards the team, we wanted to be champions that day. But are you practicing as a champion? And another thing that I've come to learn through my accident is, this is a quote from Martin Luther King. He talking about greatness, that we all can be great because we can all serve. Doesn't take any qualification, requirements, skill level, skill set to become a servant and lover of other people. It requires none of that. And we can get so caught up in our own junk sometimes that we often miss the people around us from just doing the simple things. That understanding, receiving and giving service, there's a blessing on both sides for people. And sometimes I struggle with that, being in this chair sometimes, because I went from a position where I was so independent and determined to doing everything myself. So I went to a point with my body, I needed help with everything. And by allowing myself to eliminate that male pride that I had, opened the door for me to receive someone just to care for me. Someone just to do the things to help me see that I am and receive love, which was probably the most incredible thing that I had ever experienced in my life. So just to reinforce that for you. And I that's why when I found out about what Rotary was about, I was like, I'm already a part of going to people that are inspired to do great things. Outside of their vocation and whatever it may be, all the initiatives that you're taking. I just was telling Ed, man, I'm passionate about every single thing that you're doing. So I come here to encourage you to say, continue, keep on the path. We don't understand often why we go through certain things and why they show up in a certain way. But I've come to learn through my accident, I can't change it. I can't change what has happened. Yesterday has already been etched in history. But am I going to let my yesterday affect my today? I was at physical therapy yesterday, and there was a young man, he'd been in his chair for about 2 months. And he, 18 years old, I think he got a gunshot wound to his back when he was 15. And I was just trying to give him some encouragement, saying, hey man, like, how's everything going with your life and et cetera. He's like, he's just trying to stay home, and he's thinking about when I get there, I'm so close to walking. And I was like, man, you're allowing your happiness and joy to be rooted in something that hasn't happened yet. What if it takes another year? Then you'll be happy? What if it takes 5 more years? Why can't you be happy and enjoy the life that is presented right in front of you today? Amen. Because if you're continuing to allow that thing to block you from living now, we don't know if tomorrow's gonna come. But what you can do is just maximize, enjoy your family, enjoy the opportunities before you. You're just gonna stay at home and just wait and watch TV and play video games. I get it. We've all probably been playing video games at one point, but I said, man, you have a limited window in your recovery and just a limited window in life. And you can't waste the grace and gift that you've been given each day, saying that I'll be happy when I'm walking 5 years down the road. So you're saying the whole 5 years before that, you were just bitter and angry and miserable? What kind of sense does that make? None. So I got one last story as we wrap up here. This was another basketball story that talks about time. Time. My sophomore year, we were struggling a little bit as a team. We had two guys on our team that didn't like to pass the ball very much. They liked to shoot it a lot more. And it started to leak into the locker room, and our mindset and a lot of grumbling. And our coach was brilliant at this aspect. He said, I know that we're struggling with focusing on—
Robert asked me to be here and tune in today.
I'm going to get one of the team managers to get a timer, a stopwatch, the time, how much time each player has the ball in their hands in the 4 years.
This guy was 6 feet 9
inches.
Anybody
have a guess
for basketball player at the
of our team had the ball
Florida?
in his hand in the 4
Went
years
on to play a little bit of pro ball, and he had an accident last year in 2022, and he was paralyzed.
About 5 minutes of a 40-minute game.
Did you
One
leave
point guard had the ball, and everybody else was drastically
out
lower
there?
than that. And the moral of the story,
Yeah.
that's for us in life, that's for us in
Going into your
environment.
job.
Ultimately, we know there's a limited time that we all have.
So
And we know
yeah,
that life
ooh, that
goes
was-
in ways that we can't control. But what can we control?
he left it open.
There's 35 minutes left in the game.
Your
What else are you doing to impact
tool
women
room.
instead of focusing on what you don't have and what somebody else is doing over you? And I realized, hey, I can be a great teammate.
I guess I
I
better
can set great screens. I can rebound. I can be a great defender. I can do all these other things that contribute to winning. And how else can we do that in our lives? Instead of complaining on things that we can't do, what can we do to get better? So I want to thank you all for the time.
Like the fact that you missed me.
One day and someday don't exist.
The fact that you miss me.
You like that?
Yeah, that you care
enough that you are going to make that vote for yourself. So thank you all so much for the day. Really hoping to get to shake everybody's hands and say hello, and I will catch you later. All right.
All around the side of the house, thinking that you had this, but that thing was open.
We're doing some Q&A.
Yeah. You're
I
going,
didn't know that.
you'll need to repeat the question. You have the only mic.
Okay, sounds good. Absolutely.
You didn't talk a whole lot about that. Sisters, brothers, parents, how do they react to that? How's the relationship?
Yeah, sometimes when I have a little bit more time, I dive a little bit deeper into the story, the background, the context. It was shorter, but so I got in my accident, and the first person I called was my mom. He's asking how my family has been through all of this, and my mom was not, because she was in the healthcare industry. She was a nurse for 25 years. She wasn't panicked or worried or concerned, and just asking me, all right, I'm going to drop everything. We'll be there as soon as you need us. My wife called her the same thing, just thinking about where do I need to show up next? Because we love you, we're concerned about you. What I'm so grateful for with my family, from an early age, they made it clear to me, we don't care if you ever dribble a basketball. We love you for who you are because you're a part of this family. So crisis does one or two things, or a tragedy. Sometimes it can separate a family and create distance, or it can bring a family closer together. And my accident brought my family closer together in a way that I never imagined. We got been as close as we've ever been. My mom, sister, dad, wife, even my daughter, they have all just shown up in amazing ways. And they've been incredible, encouraging, pushing me, but also calling me out when I need to hear it. As men, we know sometimes we slack. So yeah, great question.
Sports broadcasting, something you're doing full time, or share a little bit about doing research?
So he's asking me about my sports broadcasting career. This was my second year working with this SEC network as an analyst. It's not full-time, it's a contractor job, so it's seasonal. Basketball season is typically from November till March Madness. So now I'm just focusing on physical therapy, and I travel to speak, and I hope to continue to do SEC network stuff for 10 more years.
Now, I understand you started a foundation after the accident. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I started the Patric Young Foundation when the idea came to me, and it's crazy how things work. I wanted to start a foundation one day. I wanted to be a public keynote speaker. I just didn't know exactly what I would speak on. And this pain I've gone through has given me an exact vision and message for where I'm to fill in the gap. I realized through the healthcare system, stuff is very expensive. And on average, the first year a person goes through a spinal cord injury, they're looking at the cost exceed of about $1.3 million. And so not only are you devastated through the life change of being having a spinal cord injury, but financially it can just completely bankrupt and drown people. So the mantra of my foundation is providing life-changing resources to those affected by life-altering injuries. So we're actually having an event coming up in July 1st. It's going to be an all-inclusive obstacle course, an adaptive all-inclusive obstacle course that able-bodied and people with any type of disability, that's our hope and vision for it, can come and participate. But we're going to provide grants for people that need continued care, help people out with getting upgrades to their car, partnering with Brooks Rehab for things that they need. This is only the first year, so it's going to continue to expand, but super grateful to have started this thing. It's been incredible. Yes, ma'am. It's a mile outside of the World Golf Village. We're going to need volunteers and people to just come and do it, be a part of it.
Does that have a website to connect with?
Yeah, the website for the foundation and registration should be up for that event by the end of this week. But my website is just EY4 foundation.org. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Sunday, anyway, one day, Sunday. It seems that there's so many young people who are building only on it and have such long-range thoughts that if any of it goes off track, they get lost. What do you tell them? Because your coping mechanism seems remarkable. Do you see that as a problem with other kids? I've seen it myself, that if something goes wrong, they can't get right back.
Oh no, I can see it as a problem for not just young people, but for everybody. When your foundation is built upon things that have not yet happened, and it's great. I love people to have ambition. You should always be pursuing, keep getting better. I feel like when we stop trying to learn is when you stop striving to live. But to put all your eggs in the future basket and miss the present, what changed my life was being consistent in practicing gratitude. And gratitude, what people oftentimes don't understand, is the hardest thing to do. To be in the midst of circumstances that you can't control, that are unideal, that you don't want to be in, and yet you say, what, despite what I see and feel and focus, I'm going to change my focus to the things that I do have. And as what I've learned, as you continue to just water that seed of positivity, it's not that everything's going to be rainbows and sunshine, but you just live a much better life, because those things that happen negatively, you don't end up living them. It doesn't ruin your week. You're able to say, okay, that happened. I don't like it, but you know what? It could be worse. It could be that could be my situation. There's a way and a solution for me to get through this. So that's been a key tool for me. But I'm pro therapy. I am huge with people seeking therapists to talk about all the things that they're going through. If it's an extremely healing tool.
So have you been approached yet or thought about a plan to go speak nationally and internationally? Because your message resonates with all people, and it's a message people need to hear. So is there any updates or potential for that? Which is just such a great positive message.
Well, I already do nationally. I travel sometimes, few times a week. I'm getting into the athletic space with universities. I'll be speaking at Baylor University in June 1st. I'm currently working on my book. Almost done with that. That will be done in July. So that's been a fun process, healing process. You just don't realize all the things that are revealed to you through a crisis when you dive in and don't run. Yes, sir.
Those in high school students?
I don't think I've done high school this year, but I have in the past. Yes, ma'am.
Go Gigi.
There will be, yes, there will be a means, because volunteering could be assisting with the build or manning stations or helping people with registration. Like there's a full list of what that could mean. We're expecting 2,000 people. So we're going to need at least 50 volunteers.
And those volunteers will be able to stand.
Yes, it's going to be a lot. So a long day. Sounds good. Yes, sir.
And your
Yeah, absolutely. I was reminded of the story that I experienced a few years ago. It was 2018. I was up in Atlanta. I had just had knee surgery, and I was at this place called P3, and it's a peak performance center for athletes. And I go there with the hopes and thoughts that this place was going to help me get back to playing basketball, and I just believed that was God's plan for my life. That I believe that He still wanted me to continue playing basketball. And I'm reading this book. I have a little system, a routine, because I was up there for 3 months, like 5 a days, sometimes, or five times a week, sometimes 2 days of training, just doing whatever I could to get myself back. And I would read this book on healing every day, and it was Jehovah Rapha, the God who heals, just talking about stories and testimonies of other people that have gone through all types of things in life. I opened up this book one day when I was discouraged. I had doubts. I didn't know what to keep going, and it literally said, "Just go until He says no." And I didn't even read the rest of the devotion. It was like that line was all I needed to see. That in life and our faith, just because we can't see it, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Just continue to push yourself and believe. My faith has been pivotal in this circumstance because I believe I'm going to walk again. But if I say I believe, yet I do nothing that I know I can do to help my body, like, do you really believe? Like, faith without works is dead. Go to physical therapy. I push myself. I do all the stuff at home that they're telling me to do. So I don't know when the healing can happen, but I know it can. And my life is going to be in alignment with doing that. But I can't imagine going through any of this situation without my faith and my family, my wife, especially since we got married. After my accident, we got married. It's like she owed me nothing. She could have taken a step and gone some other direction, but because we built that foundation for our life, that it was never going to be around just physical things, but how much we actually truly cared and loved each other, regardless of that, wouldn't be here.
All right, on behalf of the entire club, thank you, Patrick. That was a tremendous message. We appreciate your time. And please understand that you are always welcome at this.
Even as a member, I mean, just saying.
We're not much on a pitch. Just a couple of reminders. Next week, our speaker will be past district governor and past president, some guy named Marshall Butler. Thank you, Marshall. Yeah, so again, just one more time, please remember to sign up for committees of your choosing. Those sign-up sheets are at your table. You know, again, on Tom's behalf, the next blood drive will be here at TCC on May 17th, prior to and during the meeting. Don't forget to RSVP for future events by using the DAC-DB calendar. And please make plans to attend all of our upcoming socials projects. That being said, I would like to turn it over to Doug Benefield, Orange Park's newest city councilman. What's it?
Town council.
Town
Town
council.
council.
Very good for the four-way test.
Got to rise. First.
Is the truth.
Second.
Is fair to all concerned.
Third.
Will build goodwill, better friendships,
Fourth.
will be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, guys. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Patrick, and let's go make a difference in the world.